That's fine. Yeah. Okay, good. So we're gonna get cooking. So everybody grab yourself down on your mat. Find some version of a comfortable position. That might be sitting up on a block or a blanket, or let's see, I have a little towel right here, right? I might want to start there. So I'm just finding myself in a place where I don't feel like I have to put in effort to sit, and I can be in any version of seated that I want to be. We're just going to start to roll our shoulders up and back. A few times. Just allowing yourself to come into your space. Maybe this starts to move in a bit of a cat-cow, so we round and we open. Noticing what you notice about your body right now. Maybe you haven't had a chance to really feel it yet this morning, or in the last week, or in the last 8 days, however long you've been inside for. And then find yourself in some version of stillness. For me, yoga poses are very fluid. Our bodies are made of so much fluidity. So even when I'm in a pose, I'll often be kind of just adjusting within it. So I invite you to do the same thing rather than feeling like you have to be static and correct and in whatever, you know, like, oh, I'm there and now I'm there. Everything in yoga is always there and then there more and then there more and then there more, rather than being kind of stuck in the mud, right? And we're just gonna let our eyes close and come into noticing our feet. Just feeling how they feel in space, feel the temperature, notice the mat. They could wiggle, just kind of bringing some awareness down into your feet. And then moving that awareness up to the bottom part of your legs. Feeling if your calves are gripping, if there's any tension that can be let go of, just bringing your awareness there. Starting to slow that noticing. Don't feel like you have to rush on to the next thing. Maybe start to bring your awareness into your hips and your thighs. Notice the weight of your legs. Notice if you're holding on to anything, gripping through the hip flexors, through the sides of the hips. Starting to notice how your breath moves, maybe your breath moving down through your body into your hips. Letting your mouth close and starting to allow that breath to come in through the nose if you don't feel stuffy today. And you can go out through the nose if you're familiar with Ujjayi breath, or maybe out through the mouth. Just being comfortable with your breath right now. Don't feel like you have to do anything. And then take that awareness and that breath and move it down into the pelvis. Feeling the hips open, feel that pelvic floor. In yoga, we call this the Mula Bandha, the root chakra. Feeling it really weighted down. Grounding breath, grounding work right now in particular is so important. Really feeling the floor underneath us is so important because everything is a whirlwind right now. And that, I think, is affecting the universal world. I can feel it. I've had a lot of fluttering in my heart, and I've had to do a lot of breath work and grounding, and that's really helping me to feel how I'm actually feeling right now, because my body goes right into actionable things when there's trauma going on. My body goes, whoop, okay, what are we gonna do to fix it next? Instead of, okay, I need to take care of me. You might have the opposite experience, but let's assume we're all trying to take care of each other a little bit, so that might be making us a little heightened. So let's think about really grounding for the rest of this hour. Just feeling that pelvic floor, feeling that mula bandha, feeling that Kegel exercise, all kind of mean the same thing in different lineages. Start to move that breath and awareness up into your torso, all around your belly. Notice if you're holding on to anything in your belly. See if you can start to really allow those lungs to start expanding as if they can take up all the space around you. Feeling them move backwards, side and forwards, as if the entire torso expands like a big barrel. And then move that awareness up into your chest and your heart. Letting that breath start to expand not only down, but up and out, allowing the shoulders to open. Notice if there's any gripping or anything going on through the top of the chest. And then take that awareness and like a waterfall, slide it down to your elbows. Noticing the top part of your arms, see if you can let go of anything you're holding on to, if there is anything there. Moving through the forearms, palms of the hands and fingers. Letting your hands and arms just rest on your legs, somehow either down or up, as if they are big, warm, fluffy sweaters, and they're just wrapping off of their hanger. Letting the neck start to elongate and lift. Notice if there's any tension through the throat. Bringing that awareness up to the jaw and the face, the eyebrows, the cheeks. Finally, feeling your brain. It's a funny thing to try to feel. But see if you can feel if you're gripping or tensing around the inside of your skull. And allow your head to feel like a helium balloon just lifting up. Now, without effort, see if you can be here. Again, just letting your breath come in and out of the body for a few moments to investigate any areas of tension and see if you can let them go more. Bringing all of your awareness to your breath. Inhaling through your nose. Maybe lips are closed and exhaling through your nose. Starting to make a little bit of a sound if this feels appropriate to you. It's called Ujjayi breath. It's a gentle closing in the back of the throat that creates a little bit of a reverberation. I'll make mine loud so you can hear it. It won't be this loud, but it's for you to metronome your movements to. So it sounds like this. But now softer in your own head. I don't know if you could hear that through the video, but imagine the sound of the ocean. Some people call it Darth Vader breath, which is another fun way of thinking about it. Good. And then just start to allow yourself to come back into a little bit of movement. Your eyes might stay closed if that feels good to you. If you'd rather have your eyes open, have them open. We're just gonna start to bring some relationship together with breath and movement. Noticing where the breath needs to go in the body. Maybe it's to round the head around. Maybe it's to stir the hips. Maybe it's to change the leg position. Just taking a few moments to let yourself get into your spaceship. That's what I call our bodies. I say our bodies are our spaceship to discover the earth. It's kind of true, right? We only get this one. It discovers the earth and then it leaves. So let's see how to clean your spaceship today. Good, and let yourself settle a little bit. Again, finding just a little bit of stillness. We're gonna let our eyes start to flutter open. Don't jump out of your skin as the light comes back filtering through your eyelids. You're gonna let your left hand come down onto the mat. I'm gonna look opposite than you. That's okay. And you're gonna let your right hand scoop all the way up and over, extending out through the side body, breathing here. Let this breath open you from the side body rather than it be this kind of wrenching. I don't care how far over I go. It's not about, you know, stretching for the sake of stretching. It's about breathing open. The rib cage Anatomically speaking, we're trying to extend the fascial muscles, or the fascia, not fascial muscles, the fascia, the connective tissue, to create more space for our lungs to breathe. Maybe looking up towards the sky. And then exhaling down towards the floor, breathing into the back side of your right ribs. Another deep stretch breath. And then we're gonna let that start to rotate a little bit. Inhaling up towards the ceiling, sky, exhale down. Notice the relationship that that's having with your hip. If your hip is starting to grab, it's just information for you. It means something's a little tight. Okay, no problem. Inhaling up. Exhaling to rotate. One more, inhaling. Up and over to the other side, letting your right hand come down, left hand expands out to the side. Breathe open through the rib cage a few times, just feeling what you need to feel. If you already need to start twisting, go for it. It's your practice, I'm just here as a little bit of a guide. And down towards the floor, breathing into the back. Twisting a little deeper. Inhale, breathe into the back body. And then open towards the sky as you inhale. Exhale down. Open towards the sky, trying to feel where you're at. Exhale down. One more. And all the way back to your center. We're going to sweep ourselves all the way over onto all fours, slowly making your way there. With all fours, I want to make sure always, in any time I'm on my hands, that my arms are aligned with my shoulders and not hyperextended. This is a position I see a lot in yoga. People kind of go, boom, I'm just gonna kind of lock into this joint instead of using my upper shoulders. Yeah, I think I can do it. Hold on, can I mute everyone? I don't know how to do it. Muted myself, that's not helpful. Arden, when you get a chance, Arden, will you mute yourself? So lock into, yeah, just click the screen and then click the mute. It keeps popping for some reason. So lock your back shoulder instead of it being your elbow. And when I say lock, yeah, that's perfect. You got it. Gorgeous. We're trying to find stability through the back body instead of going into the flexibility here. So what that looks like is this is not correct, that's more correct. Even if I'm in plank, if I'm in any version of here, the only time I rotate open is as I move through chaturanga, but not before that, because it means that I'm putting too much pressure in the tinier joints when I really want the back body to do the work for me. So pressing down into all fours, pressing into your fingers, grab through the mat. Make sure your knees are directly underneath your shoulders. Feel free to put more blankets underneath you if that bothers your knees, and starting to curl the tailbone underneath you. Draw the belly in, letting the head hang. Pull the low belly in and up. Shake out the head. And then lengthen from your hips, extending the hips all the way back. Roll the shoulders open through the chest. Inhale. Exhale, curl the tailbone underneath you. Draw the belly in. Let your head hang. Maybe we add our feet this time. We flex the feet. Press through the heels, extending them back as we draw the hips back. Opening through the heart. Then pressing down through the tops of the feet. Let the pelvis really guide you. Tailbone comes underneath you. Belly draws in. Head hangs. Feeling this start to wrap through the trunk and torso here, that it doesn't just become a neck and shoulder thing. It's much more about integrating the vertebrae, integrating the core, lengthening through. And then starting to really feel that integration of breath. We exhale, we draw the belly in, we let the head hang. We feel ourselves wrapping over top of a bar as if we are a wet towel. Maybe you need to stay here longer. Feel free to take hold of your own practice. Rather than fully 100% listening to me, that's fine. Lengthening out through cow. And then maybe this starts to make some intuitive movement. So for you, you might feel like, oh, I really want to roll my spine around like an ice cream cone, like I'm trying to lick the last bit of the ice cream from the ice cream carton, or side to side, or back and front, or sliding an arm underneath. Just take a moment again to settle into your spaceship and feel what your spaceship needs this morning as it starts to come into some movement that maybe is a little bit different than just the daily furiously writing emails, which is the life that we are currently living. Good, and let that wiggle, 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 and then keeping your weight back through center, finding your weight over your hands, over your toes. You're gonna tuck your toes. You're gonna draw your low belly in as if I'm tickling your tummy, so pull your low belly towards your spine, draw your shoulders back and down, and we're gonna bring our hips back so that our hips, our bum is back towards our heels, and then imagine I held you by your hip bones and I pulled you on up. And then we're gonna glide forward, back through cow. So knees come back down. I open through my chest through cow. And then I sweep my hips back, press through the hands, hips go up through this kind of shortened dog for a moment, and then glide myself forward, slide through cow. And you can make this even more about an arm challenge if you want to start to slide it deeper down. So I've come down through my forearms, bring my hips up, and then as I come forward, I bring my forearms down and I glide myself through extension and bring myself back. So if you're looking for something that's like a little bit more of maybe a challenge, you add this lower sweep. Be where your body feels best today. My body might feel best staying upright. Take a few more cycles of this. And we're gonna meet all the way up in downward dog. As we're here, bend your knees a lot. Take your ribs, bring them onto your thighs. Lift your hips toward the sky, but keep your ribs on your thighs. Press to your fingerprints, not your wrists. Wrists are a joint, they're light. We're trying to press to the fingers and the palms, not into the joint. Pushing away, pressing back, 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 lengthening through the triceps. Now the elbow creases are looking at each other, slightly forward. And then we're gonna pedal the right leg down, keeping the left knee bent, feeling that stretch through the hip, calf, quad, and thigh. Think about the big bone of your leg, your femur pressing back towards your hip or back towards your hamstring, and then switching. Pressing through the heels, pressing the big bone of the leg back towards the hamstring. And just let this happen a few times, paddling it out. And then lift the feet and reach through the arms. Maybe the feet lower. I don't care if they do. That's the least important part of downward dog, is letting the feet lower. And I can always be on my knees, right? So if downward dog is just not in your practice today, great, no problem. This is the same position. We're gonna slowly take our feet, walk all the way toward our hands. Bend your knees and let your feet come about two fist distances apart. And we're gonna let ourselves hang for a moment. As we hang into this forward fold, as long as there's no blood pressure, glaucoma, eye pressure issues, this is a good spot to be. If you have any of those issues, you're just gonna come up to flat back, which will be safer.
You can hold onto the back of your head if that feels good, or you can wrap your elbows around your forearms if that feels good, and you're just gonna sway maybe side to side. Finding your breath. Just staying there, rooting through your feet. Most importantly, thinking about the hips coming up towards the sky as your trunk rounds forward, as you fold more. If you're ready for a deeper kind of catch, you could take both of your arms and wrap them around the back of your calves, hugging yourself in. You might bend your knees and extend. Just feel where you're at, and then settle into some version of fold. So whether it's hugging around your legs, holding the back of your head, holding the back of your elbows, just hands on the floor. We're just gonna be here for another few moments, allowing tractioning to happen through our neck muscles, through our mid-back muscles, through our low back muscles. Breath. Your lungs are open behind you. Let them expand like wings out to the side. Good. Allowing one of those catches to let go, pressing down through your feet, feeling your feet expand like puddles. Start to root down into them and very slowly extend all the way up through the legs first. Then my pubic bone and tailbone drop to come in line with each other first. So I'm getting that pelvis in line. Then I start to stack my lower vertebrae. There's 5 of them. Then there's 12 through my thoracic body, which goes up through my rib cage, through my heart. My shoulders roll back. Then there's 7 more in my neck, taking the time to let them stack, and then letting my head lift like a little balloon. Finding your palms in front of you, finding your feet underneath you. Feeling the crown of the head line up through the tailbone. I know that you're losing part of my head. That's okay, just imagine that it's there. Draw your shoulders back and down. Tadasana, mountain pose. This is the pose we're looking for in all of yoga. The feeling of balancing, the grounding to the lifting, the grounding to the air. Inhale, gather all the good stuff that you need for your day, bring it up. Exhale, press out that which you don't, fold. Inhale, hands come onto thighs, either on shins or thighs, not on kneecap, to find your flat back. So I'm looking for the place that from my tailbone through the top of my head, I get this beautiful long line. I'm pressing down through my feet, letting my feet puddle, stretching through my calves, drawing my belly in. Think about the big bones of your legs pressing back towards your hamstrings. Again, like somebody's pulling on your hips and pulling them backwards so that your spine can elongate forward. There's a lot going on, right? Sometimes we just throw ourselves into these poses like, oh, that's what it's supposed to look like. But actually trying to take a moment to feel everything, bringing ourselves into our feeling body is my goal for this class. Feel your feelings, feel your body, really try to notice everything that's happening rather than rushing through to the next pose, pose, pose. Exhale, feel as you fold all the way down. We're gonna leave the right foot where it is. Take a big lunge back with the left leg. Lifting that knee up, lifting the thigh up for a moment. Just notice that the knee is in line with the ankle. It's never shooting forward over the toes. It's always pulling backward. Squaring the hips, and then maybe the left knee comes down. You can place more blankets underneath your knee, or sometimes we fold up our mat so we can put our knee on a little more cushion. If you have blocks, your hands can go on blocks. If you don't worry about it. We're gonna do some hip openers here. Pushing down through the heel. Now think about pulling the heel backward, right? So this right heel draws backward, which then brings my heart upward.
My left hip is reaching forward, my right hip is drawing backwards, so both points of my hips are pointing forward. Hands come up onto my thigh. I'm looking at my knee, I'm making sure it lines up with my second and third toe, and I'm gonna lift up from that pelvic floor, that mula bandha, that root we were talking about. I'm gonna draw energy from the earth like a siphon all the way up. And I can stretch to the sides of my waist. If this feels okay on your kneecap, and sometimes it doesn't, so maybe we're here, right? This is fine. This might be too much for some people's patellas or thighs, so be where you feel best. We're gonna lift the arms. Open through the chest, open through the heart if that feels good. Stay, breathe. Stretch the heart all the way open and back. And exhale, we're gonna windmill all the way down, letting our right hand come in line with our left foot. Right hand comes on left, right knee. I don't know my right from my left. Gentle twist. Beautiful. Twisting through the low belly. If you feel like you have more, want more, you could tuck your back foot, lift the leg, twist from the belly button. Think about the belly button being in love with the inner thigh. A little deeper. It's the first twist, so just take care. Push back through your left heel. Push forward through your right hip as you twist. Maybe letting your right hand lift up. Sweeping it open for a moment. Exhale, bring it all the way down. We're going to take our right hand and left hand to the inside now of our right leg. We're going to toe heel the right foot out so the heel is on the mat and the toe is on the floor. Coming down into a lizard position. Now my hip can open. So my knee goes out to the side and my weight can go onto the pinky edge of my right leg. If it feels good, you can come lower, but you be wherever you are today. Right? You can come down onto your forearms. Just stretching that open. If you're feeling uber duper flexy, you could take your right arm underneath your right leg. Just prepping for this little twisted pose. Be where you are. Don't worry about being on the cover of the Yoga Journal magazine. I think those people hurt themselves when they're in those poses for like 8 hours trying to take a picture anyway. And then slowly walk it back on up. We're gonna toe heel the right foot in line with the nose, which is kind of funky, but it's gonna be the pinky edge side of the right leg is in line with your nose. It's still gonna be open. I can be back here on my knee if that feels more appropriate, or I'm gonna come into a lunge position, letting my weight come over top of my foot. So I'm getting a very deep stretch through my piriformis. Right, so from the side, if you need a better view of me. There I am. It's like a pigeon-ish stretch, but it's about the hip. Breathe into those hips. I told you we were going to do some grounding work to feel where we're at, to really feel our feelings. That is this kind of hip opener stuff. Another breath. Good. Bring the left knee down. Extend the right leg. Now it can come to the center. Flex over top. Stack up through the spine for a moment first, just to square your hips, just to get everything back into alignment. And then fold down. You can come onto blocks if you have them, or just fold. Stretching out the back of the hamstring back to the calf. Breath. One more deep breath. And then bring your hands underneath you. Lift your left foot. Take your right leg underneath you as well. I'm going to have us come down on our knees first. If you're a chaturanga person and you're like, boom, I'm ready, go for it. But I'm going to cue us through a little bit of a gentler one to start. So we're down through our knees. Our hips are extended, which means they're not back here. My collarbone's open. I'm going to roll my shoulders so the creases of my elbows point forward towards my stools here. I'm going to draw my belly in, and I'm going to hover down. Both my chest and my chin touch the earth at the same time. Roll my shoulders back like somebody's pulling on my book bag, and lift through my heart.
My neck is still nice and long in alignment. I'm not doing this. This is actually cutting off my vertebrae in my throat. It's overstretching my vocal cords. I want to be here, so that it's about my heart opening rather than about wrenching through my neck. I'm going to tuck my toes underneath me, press down into my knees, pull my belly off of the earth. I'm going to bring myself up, sit back. This is going to be reminiscent of how we started. Press into the hands, tuck the toes, lift the hips like somebody's pulling them all the way up. Find your downward dog. 3 deep, beautiful breaths in your downward dog. Pedal out the feet. And we're going to start to walk forward with our left foot and then our right. Hanging for a moment in forward fold, shaking out any tension that you're finding as the body starts to unfurl itself, pressing down to the feet and slowly start to roll all the way up, finding your spine, stacking into Tadasana. Inhale, gather all the good stuff that you need for today, this week, this hour, this minute, whatever it might be. Press out anything that you can that's in your gills that you can get rid of. Fold. Inhale, come up to the flat back, finding that strength. Bringing the leg bones back towards your hamstring, bringing your spine nice and forward, drawing in through the torso, lengthen. Yeah. If you want a little ab work, hands can come out to the side or out in front of you, which is going to challenge your core connection a little bit more. Make sure that that doesn't mean you throw that load into your low back. Pull the belly off of the earth. 3 more breaths. 2 and 1. Let your left leg stay where it is. Step way back with your right. Now you know where we're going. Finding your lunge for just a moment, letting the right knee come down. Letting go of the feet. Think about the right hip coming forward, the left hip coming backward. Start to pull that left heel back toward you to help you lift up through the trunk and torso if that feels good to you. As you lift up here, we go into a little bit of a crescent. Opening through the chest. Stretching through the center body. Open through that heart. Send warmth and air like a big glowing light right there. Or just breath. Take the esoteric work if it feels good to you, skip it if it doesn't. Exhale, sweeping it all the way down. Now my right hand comes in line with my left foot. My left hand comes onto my knee and I take a gentle twist. That might be perfect for you. Just gentle. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. If you feel like adding on, you'll lift the back leg, pull the belly up and around to twist a little deeper. Knee can come down or stay up. If it's up, it's really lifted through the calf, not sagging like this, lifted. Extend back through the heel and straight through the heart. Then we twist. Open a little deeper, 1 more big breath. And sweep yourself all the way down. Toe healing, your left leg out to the side, knee comes down, and I open through lizard. This foot can come down flat or the toe can flex. My left leg is going towards my bookshelf. I can come down onto my elbows if that feels good, or not. I can sweep underneath my arm underneath my leg if that feels good, or not. Shake out the head. Tension in the hips leads to tension in the neck because everything is connected in the spine. There's no way to suddenly disconnect one vertebrae from another. They all work together. Few more breaths. Just feel what's coming up. Good, and then softly let your hands come all the way up. Walk that left foot in line with the nose. Lift your back right foot if it feels okay, or right knee if it feels okay, to come into the lunge. Again, you could have the knee down, but if you can lift up, it's going to allow you to push your weight over top of your foot a little bit more, which is going to allow you to open up the hip a bit more. Good, breathing into that opening. Reach through the heel. another deep breath. And let the knee of the right side come down. Let the left foot stay in front of you. Flex through the foot. Stack yourself up for just a moment to connect to your alignment and then fold forward. Letting your femur bone of your left leg feel like it's drawing backward and your heart drawing forward, letting your head hang. Go ahead, breathe as you release, deep and over top. Find your breath, feel your wing blades open behind you. And then sliding yourself forward, pressing down into your hands, lift your back, right leg, let your left leg come with you. Knees, chest, chin like we did a moment ago, or I'm gonna guide full chaturanga, but feel free to go to the one we did a moment ago where we did knees, chest, chin. So full chaturanga, I find full lengthened plank. My elbows are bent to the side for a moment, and then I roll them so that my elbow creases are pointing towards my chairs. I pull my rib cage in and up. I reach through the heels, I open through the heart. My whole body hovers together, never touching the earth. Then I glide myself forward, switch my feet so they're flat, lift up like I'm Ariel the Little Mermaid. Sweeping out of the rock, pulling my belly in and up more, lift up higher, higher, higher. Then from my core, somebody pulls me up towards the sky, I flip my feet. And I press my rib cage towards my thighs, hips towards the sky. Collarbone opening. Maybe the heels draw down, maybe they don't. Feel where you're at today. Again, no pose has to be static. If you want to pedal, pedal. If you want to shake, shake. If you want to wiggle, wiggle. Take another big breath. And slowly walking your feet toward your hands. Stay in this fold for a second, bending through the knees. We're going to take monkey gorilla god pose. So I'm going to slide my palms underneath the soles of my feet so that my toes touch my wrists. Then I'm going to bend my elbows out to the side as my ribs glue onto my thighs and my nose hovers between my knees. And then maybe my hips lift up. I'm not trying to straighten my arms. Elbows are trying to stay out, ribs and thighs are trying to stay together. It's hard to talk in this position, but I'm doing it. We're gonna breathe as we fold. John just walked by. That's my husband. Deeper. Shake out the neck. Good, and then take those feet and hands apart. Puddle down into your feet, root down into the oak trees of your legs, and start to slowly roll, drawing the belly all the way in. Stacking the tailbone underneath the spine. Lifting it all the way up. Awesome, so we're gonna add on for this next flow, but feel free to go back to any of the poses that we just did as we move ahead. Inhale, gather all the good stuff. Exhale, press out anything that you can get rid of today. Inhale, stack all the way back on up. Lengthening your thighs back, lengthening your heart forward. Taking any little ab challenges that feel appropriate to you. Keeping the right leg where it is, we're gonna step all the way back. Big, huge, gorgeous step back. So the left leg is backward, the right leg is forward, pushing into that right foot. Again, you could always come down onto your knee. Square the hips, squeeze the inner thighs, or we're gonna lift straight on up. As we're here, energy is in the right heel, not the toes of the right foot. So push the right heel and pull that right hip backward. That's gonna square me up to alignment a little bit better than where we kind of end up like this. I need to
pull it backward. So the headlights of my hips are pointing forward. My back knee might need to bend for a minute just to find my alignment and then lengthen through my back leg. Squaring my hips. Hands come up. This is the Kripalu version of Warrior One. Or Kripalu. I don't know if it's Kripalu or Kripalu. Katie would know. Okay. It depends on your accent. So Kripalu is very good about the alignment thing and neutral alignment. So they do foot up. I'm turning so you can see me. Back foot up. Ashtanga and a more like classical Indian version is to take your back foot and turn it so that your heel of your front foot lines up with the arch of your back foot. So that looks more like what you see traditionally. I believe in doing whichever your body likes. Okay? So whichever one you like today, that's where I want you. All the while pulling that right hip back, squaring your hips. Hands here, hands here, hands here. Find your breath. 2 more deep breaths. Good, 1. Pushing down through your front heel. Letting your hands come to your hips for a second. Bending your knee, turning your toes if they're not turned to the Kripalu version so that they're parallel. Turn them that way. Engage the abs. We're going to push through and lift all the way up to Warrior 3. This might be your Warrior 3 today. This might be your Warrior 3 today. Hands might be down. You feel squaring those hips. What feels best for you? Reach through that back heel. Lengthen through the torso. Right? If I had blocks, I might have them down on the floor. 1 more deep breath. And press all the way back and down. Finding your hands underneath you. Finding your plank or knees down. Taking your flow. Rolling the shoulders. Hovering off the earth. Gliding yourself forward. Wrapping up. Breathe through your downward dog. Bend and stretch the knees. And slowly walk your feet towards your hands. Root into your feet. Engage the abs. Roll it all the way up. Gather all the good stuff. Name it for yourself. What is the good stuff? What do you need today? You don't have to say it out loud, but you just name it for yourself. Bring it down into you. Press away that which does not serve you. Name it for yourself in your mind. Fold all the way down. Find your flat back. Breathe your belly up. Lengthen your hips back, lengthen your heart forward. Finding your strength. Pressing all the way down. This time, left leg stays, right leg lifts way back and up. Push to the heel. Finding your high lunge. Again, you could do low lunge, whichever feels best to you. That's where I want you. Push to that heel, that back right heel. Square your right hip. Square your left hip, and maybe we lift all the way up. Settling into it first, and then elongate. I'm noticing my psoas and my hip flexor joint right here, my Golgi tendon of my hip, is feeling a little grumbly today. So I'm going to be just aware of that and try to breathe into it. I'm not going to try and force anything to look a certain way. Open through the chest. And then find your warrior, whatever that might be to you. Bending your front right knee. Squaring your right hip back. I need to pop my warrior a little shorter because my hip is taking on the tensions of the day. Breathe. Pull the abs in. Don't just let this slump into your back, right? Give me a connection in the belly. Pull that right hip back. 1 more deep breath. And warrior 3, we're going to fly all the way forward, taking as many steps as you need to get there. In a happy world,
We square the hips down. We reach back through our heel. Maybe Surya Namaskara, maybe bringing the hands together. Whatever feels best to you. 3 more breaths. And then fold it on down. Find your flow. That might be skipping the flow altogether. Breathe. That's the best thing you can do for yourself. Just breathe. All these poses in yoga, the only reason they exist is to get flow, prana, chi, ki, reiki, whatever word you want to name it, moving through your body so that you can be in meditation. So my goal is breath moving. That's it. Everything else is just the icing on the cake. 1 more breath. And we're going to slowly come all the way forward. This time we're going to come down, bringing your feet only 1 fist distance apart. Start to sit back into a chair as we lift the heart. Belly's drawing in. Oh. Square those legs. Utkatasana, chair pose. Connecting through the core. Stay right there, just looking. Good, push through those heels. Belly's drawing in. Feel the strength. Inhale, sweep everything you need, gather it, name it. Exhale, press away that which you don't. Inhale, find your flat back, breathe. Exhale, right leg stays, left leg steps back. Inhale, we sweep all the way up, warrior 1. This time we're gonna exhale, rotate our torso so that we come into warrior 2. It's the same footing as I was talking about before with the Ashtanga Iyengar classical foot. So my right foot is shooting forward, my left foot is on a 45-degree angle, and my heel is making a beeline to the arch of my left foot. I'm gonna open my arms out to a T. I'm gonna push down through this right hip, but then pull it backward. See what that does. So that now I can stack myself appropriately as I look over my left, or my right, I should say, finger. I'm gonna go surfing. Inhale, lift. Don't let this come from the knee. This comes from the hip. That's why I have my back to. So you can see it come from the hip as I press forward and back. My knee is secondary. I'm pressing through and back from my glute. 1 more. This time I'm gonna lengthen. I'm gonna think about my femur, my big bone of my leg, squeezing toward the left. My left hip for me is reaching way back towards the windows out there. My right hand is gonna extend out towards my stools, and my left hand's gonna join it. Twisting open through the heart using your abs. This is a version of triangle pose. If you want full triangle, take it. 1 more breath. Good. Bending your front leg again, letting your right arm come onto your right knee, extending a long line from your left fingers to your left toes. It's again, I'm showing you the back of me so you can see a long line opening up through my right hip. Good, get longer. Be the saltwater taffy of the color of my pants. Open, open, open. And then we curl ourselves around, twisting back. Take a little hop up, engage to the abs, and warrior 3. Squaring our hips down. 2 more deep breaths. And slowly fold, letting that leg come back. Taking a flow or skipping it all together. Breathe in through the abs. Tuck the toes. Paddle it out. Looking at your hands. and making your way there. If you're a hopper, you can hop. So I bring my weight back into my hands. I press into my fingers, I gauge my abs, and I hop. If you're not a hopper, walk up like we have been. Shake it out. Slowly roll it up. Gather the good stuff, name it in your mind. Press away that doesn't serve you. Inhale, gather yourself, lengthen, finding your alignment. Finding your flat back, drawing your abs in. Pressing down to frame your left foot, right foot steps way back. Energy through the heel, push to the heel, engage to the abs. We lift all the way up. Warrior one for a moment, and then we spindle our foot of our right side, opening up through the thigh of our left, drawing a line from your heel to your arch, making sure this energy is down through the glute, not the knee, as we look over the left hand. Think about lengthening through the back leg more than you think. And then getting the tailbone underneath you, not to tuck, but to lengthen the spine upright like I have a helium balloon. And I'm gonna go surfing, press to my heel. I could even lift my toes, which is gonna give me just that energy. And push, and lengthen. And last one, lengthen. Bring the hips way back. I'm going back towards my TV console. As I reach forward, I'm gonna spin my heart open like we did when we started, and then reach. I'm gonna squeeze my inner thighs together like an A-frame ladder coming together, even though they're not anywhere near together, as I extend. Breathe, right? Or I could go, yeah, this feels better. Whichever version feels good to you. One more deep breath. And then bend through that heel. Left hand comes onto left knee. Drawing a diagonal line through space. Opening through the chest. Breath, right? We're doing all of these poses that are super heart opening on purpose. So find your breath. Let those lungs really work. Take another big, beautiful breath. And we're gonna sweep all the way down. This is the very last flow. So take it, skip it, make it look the way you want it to. Once you're in downward dog, you're gonna breathe for 3 breaths. And then slowly bring your knees down. Big toes come together. Sit back into your hips. Child's pose. Arms can extend in front of you. If that feels good, they can come back if that feels better. And then sweeping yourself off to one side. We'll come up to a seated position. Letting the legs stack in front of you. Finding Dandasana, which is the name of this pose. That's just an L-shaped pose where my thighs are directly in line and my spine is on top. I talked about this the last class. I did, but it's one of my favorite Sanskrit hints into what we want things to feel like. Dandasana is the Sanskrit name of this pose, which is an L-shaped strength pose. Ardha Mukha Dandasana is the name of downward dog. So downward dog literally just means flip it around this pose. Like the translation is, what's the Missy song? You know, the flip it around. That's what we are. Dandasana is the version of that King's on movie, right? So if I extend my arms all the way up and open through my heart, oh look, I'm in downward dog. I'm just there already. So that's what downward dog should feel like in the hips when we're upside down, is this sense of my femur bones backward down towards the earth, right? But in down dog, obviously it's backwards towards the air. And then my spine gets to stay nice and beautifully and long. And now when we're in the downward dog version of this pose, there's a little, obviously a tip forward, whereas this one is more upright. But it's just notice the hips and notice that feeling, because that's the thing that gets missed a little bit in down dog. So I want this feeling as you practice forever and ever. And this video will be up on my website, so you can follow along to it again. And there's other ones there too. bumbleandflow.com, spelled exactly as it sounds. Right, so draw your spine nice and tall. Good, and then start to walk yourself a little forward. Now we're changing the pose. Okay. I'm laughing at my bulldog, who's off screen, just gently tooting, feeling very comfortable, very relaxed. I hope that for all of you. Draw the belly in, lengthen a little more. Good, catch where catch can. It doesn't matter where you catch. Lift up and then go ahead, let it go. And slowly roll it on up. I invite you to take any pose that you feel like you need right now that I've missed. And if you're like, I don't know, then we're gonna meet in Shavasana. But some options for Shavasana, we're either gonna be corpse pose, Shavasana pose. The name of this pose is Shavasana, right? Or you might wanna do legs up a wall, where I get very close to the side, and then I turn myself around so my legs come up the wall so I can settle. Or if you have a bunch of blankets or bolsters or blocks, you might do a heart opener where you put the bolster underneath you and you go right to kind of your end of your mid rib cage line, and you open here. So whatever one of those poses feels best to you, I'm going to guide you through a gentle visualization meditation from the Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. If you don't know him, this is my real gift to you. He's amazing. He's a meditation teacher and all around awesome person. This book is a daily meditation. The Book of Awakening. And I am not reading today's, but I'm reading the one that I opened to this morning, as I literally said the phrase, feel your feelings, was what I decided was our theme. And I opened the book, and the very first thing it says is March 26th, feel your feelings. So that felt ominous and appropriate. As you settle down, feeling your feelings. The fastest way to freedom is to feel your feelings. Gita Bellini. Gita Bellin. This sounds pretty simple, but though it's easy to know you have feelings, easy to know their weight and agitation and suddenness of mood, it is another, more subtle matter to feel them. That is, to let them penetrate your being the way wind snaps through a flag. This is necessary because if we don't feel our feelings all the way through, they never leave us. And then when we do all kinds of unusual things to get them out from under us, this is the cause of many an addiction. I've diverted myself many times by becoming involved in what surrounds my pain or sadness while never feeling the thing itself. So when someone asks me how I feel, I wind up retelling the circumstances of the pain, but not feeling it. Or strategizing what to do next, but not feeling it. or anticipating reactions, but not feeling what is mine to feel. Or swimming in the anger of injustice, but not diving through the wound. Though we fear it, feeling our feelings is the only clear and direct way to free our hearts of pain. Meditate on the ways you might avoid your feelings. In your silence, stop holding them off with words or reasons or busyness. Simply be ashore and let your feelings wash against you like waves. I invite you to stay in your relaxation position. I invite you to stay and be the shore as your feelings wash over you. But for those of you that do want a guide back into the world of whatever this world of Monday is today, I'll guide you out of it. Okay. Don't feel like you have to be in my time pattern, however. Starting to notice your fingers and your toes wiggling in space. Starting to bring back movement to your wrists and your ankles. Allowing your body to stretch and expand. Opening up any threads of tension that are left. Any places where breath can go and open. Feeling, let it go there. Healing you. Wiggling around like seaweed on the bottom of the ocean floor until eventually you curl into a fetal position, perhaps on your right side. On your right side so that the liver can detoxify anything that's been found through our gentle practice today. In your fetal position, curled up, remember that you are creative, strong, interesting, unique. Your spaceship is the only one that exists like yours. Your mind is the only one that exists like yours. And everything that you are experiencing right now is valid. It is a crazy time. Life is always a crazy time. Right now is a particularly crazy time. It's all valid. And it's all worth experiencing. Even the not pretty stuff. If it feels appropriate to you to set an intention for the day, or hour, 5 minutes, please do. That doesn't feel totally like what you want. You could create a little bodhicitta, it's called. It's the universal knowledge that we are all connected. We are connected to everything, that we are part of everything, from the fly in your living room to the great oak tree. We're all part of the same energy. The earth is all energy. This life is all energy. Maybe just taking a moment to acknowledge that. And then slowly finding yourself into a comfortable seated position. Letting your hands go wherever they feel like they are needed. Letting them touch any part of your body that feels like it could use them. I bow to the goodness in you as you do to me. And as we truly, by this practice and by how we act in the world, try to bring goodness. Namaste. I hope I see you all soon.